was fumbling with the keys at the front door when he heard voices from the backyard. Curious, he edged closer, hidden behind the fence's shadow. It's serious, Damian. If they audit us, that's it. We are done for tomorrow. He heard his dad hiss in a tone he'd never heard him. Yeah, but who would suspect? I mean, it was perfect. The money just sitting there. And it's not like...
I see you, my heart they beats. A lady of all men's dream. You be the one with him.
Hi, meet Tom, a man who has faced rejection and neglect from his own family. And this is his story. Growing up, it was always Damian this and Damian that. Tom's big brother. He is 6 years older and the golden boy of their father. Tom was more like the background music in the soundtrack of their family's life, barely noticed and easily ignored. Damian got the new clothes and the big birthday parties and the lion's share of attention. Tom usually got his hand-me-down and a pat on the head if he was lucky. Their mother, she is a kind soul caught in the middle of it all. She would throw him this sad little smile, her way of saying she wished things were different. But they pushed her around and she never stood up for Tom. It's like she was there but not really there. You know, things took a new dive about a week later after Tom's 18th birthday. Damian decided to move back home. He has been living out of the state with his fancy job and his perfect little family, but suddenly he needed to crash back at the family's house. Guess whose room he took? Yeah, Tom's. Dad, where am I supposed to go? Tom asked, standing there with his world packed into boxes, feeling like some guest who overstayed his welcome. It's just for a little while, Tom, Dad said, not even looking him in the eyes. You are young. You can adapt. Damian needs this more right now. Just like that, Tom was out. No discussions, no alternative. He crashed at his friend's house, Mike's couch. That night, surrounded by his stuffs, wondering how family could do that to him. A few days later, Tom stopped by the house to pick up some things he'd left behind. The place was buzzing like some kind of royal event because Damian was moving in. Dad was all smiles, directing movers with Damian's fancy furniture. Hey Tom, Damian greeted him as casuals, like they were just bodies running into each other. Have you grabbed your stuff yet? Yeah, just about to, Tom mumbled, trying not to let the bitterness show. It wasn't his fault alone, but his tongue, seeing him take over his space so easily. Listen, we really appreciate the flexibility, little brother, Damian said, a hand on Tom's shoulder. Things has been tough, you know, with the job and the kids. Tom nodded. Dad joined in, patting them both on the back. That's my boys, keeping it together. As Tom walked out of there, his mom caught up to him at the door. Her eyes were teary and she slipped money into his hand. Get something good to eat, okay? Thank you, Mom. He squeezed her hand, wishing she'd say more. She would do more, but she just watched from the doorway as Tom loaded the last of his life into Mike's beat-up car and drove off, not looking back. That night, at Mike's place, rolling around on the lumpy couch that smelled like old farm and spilled beer, Tom couldn't help but think about all the ways a family could let you down. And lying there, he made up his mind that he was going to be more than just an afterthought. He had to be cramped into Mike's apartment, which felt like a shoebox than a living space. He tried piecing together a new routine. It wasn't much, but it was a start, a chance to figure out his next step. Without Damian, or his dad dictating his move. One afternoon, while Mike was out, Tom decided to stop by the old house to grab a few more of his things that he couldn't fit in the car the first time. The neighborhood was quiet, too quiet, and as Tom approached, he noticed his dad's car wasn't in the driveway. Good, he could avoid another awkward encounter. He was fumbling with the keys at the front door when he heard voices from the backyard. Curious, he edged closer, hidden behind the fence's shadow. It's serious, Damian. If they audit us, that's it. We are done for tomorrow. He heard his dad hiss in a tone he'd never heard him. Yeah, but who would suspect? I mean, it was perfect. The money just sitting there. And it's not like you didn't need it too. Damian's voice was low, conspiratorial. Tom froze. What money? What are they talking about? You think I wanted this? You are the one who came to me with that crazy plan. Their dad sounded desperately angry. Tom crept a bit closer, his heart pounding as their scheme started to unravel right in front of him. We just need to keep it under wraps. Plus, I've got a backup plan. We can pin in on the market downtown if it blows up. Tom's jaw clenched. The market downtown where they embezzled money. Was that why Damian moved back so suddenly? The back door creaked and Tom ducked behind the bushes just in time as Dad stormed into the house, leaving Damian alone in the yard. Tom waited for his heartbeat to calm before he dared to breathe normally again. Sneaking back to the front, he abandoned his mission for old stuff and headed straight back to Mike's. The walk back was longer than he remembered, his mind racing with every step at the Mike's. He kicked off his shoe and collapsed on the couch. Dude, you won't believe what I just heard. Mike leaned in, his eyes wide open. What's going on? Damian and Dad are into something bad, like illegal bat embezzlement or something. They were talking about hiding money and some backup plan to cover it up. Mike whistled. Man, this is messed up. What are you going to do? Tom shook his head, staring at the peeling wallpaper, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulder. I don't know, man. I don't know. The next few days were a blur of anxiety and indecision. Tom needed evidence, something concrete, if he was going to do something about it. It wasn't just about Damian or his dad anymore. It was about right and wrong, about not letting them get away with whatever they were planning. He made a decision to go back, to try to get more of their conversations on record. It was risky, sure, but he had to do more. He had to stop them somehow. The thought of diving deeper into their deceit was daunting, but the more he thought about it, the clearer it became. Justice, sometimes you've got to chase it down yourself. Why don't you come inside, Tom? We need to talk about something important. The invitation from his dad was more of a command than a request. As he stepped back into the house, once called home, the living room was too familiar, yet alien, without his stuffs around. Damian was already seated, looking every bit stressed out, the businessman he pretended to be. We are in a tight spot, Tom, and we could really use your help with this mess. Dad started, avoiding his gaze. Yeah, about the company. Things have gotten a bit tangled up, Damian added, trying to sound casual but failing miserably. Listen, we might have moved some funds in a way that, well, it could look bad without the right context. Dad continued, finally meeting his eyes. There were desperations in their eyes, something Tom hadn't seen before. And what exactly do you want from me? His voice was steady, but inside he was reeling. Were they seriously about to ask me to cover for them? We thought and hoped you could tell the court the funds were for your college, that we were just trying to give you a future. Damian said quickly, almost in a rush to get the words out. So, you want me to lie, to say that you committed fraud for my benefit? The absurdity of the request left Tom cold. It will make a difference, Tom. It could really help soften the blow if it looked like we were just trying to help family. Dad explained, his voice low. You threw me out when Damian needed space. Now you want me to save you. His voice cracked, anger and disbelief mixed together. It wasn't like that, Tom. We just needed to regroup as a family. Damian started. Stop! Just stop. You can't keep playing the family card when it suits you, then toss it aside when it doesn't. Standing up, Tom felt taller, stronger. I won't lie for you. Not in court, not anywhere. Tom, please. Think about this. We are still your family, Dad pleaded, his voice straining with the weight of his choices. This is wrong, and you know it. You made your bed. Now you have to lie on it. Tom said firmly, decision cementing inside him with each word. But we could go to jail, Tom. You don't want that on your conscience. Damian tried one last time, his usual confidence gone. My conscience is clear because I am not the one who broke the law. You did this, not me, and I won't help you hide it. Turning towards the door, Tom knew this was more than just a refusal. It was a declaration of his independence from their twisted moral. You will regret this, Tom, when you need us and we are not here. Dad's voice was a warning tinged with bitterness, like you were there for me. Tom didn't look back. The door clicked shut behind him, a soft yet resolute sound marking the end of his compliance to their schemes. Outside, the air never tasted so sharp, so free. As Tom walked away, each step was lighter than the last. He wasn't just walking away from their offer. He was stepping towards something new, something his. Whatever lay ahead, it had to be better than the lies and deceit he was leaving behind. I can't believe you turned your back on us, Tom. After everything, the text from Damian buzzed on Tom's phone as he sat in a small stack office across from a legal aid advisor. Damian's words were meant to sting, but they felt more like the desperate clutching of a drowning man. I am not turning my back. I am standing up for what's right, Tom typed back before turning off his phone. The weight of the conversation with his brother and father still hung heavy, but here in this clustered office lined with law books and hopeful clients, he was making a move to protect himself. Given what you've described, it sounds like you do the right thing coming here. The advisor, a woman with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense ponytail, reassured him. You are not responsible for their actions, and you certainly shouldn't lie to cover them up. What if they try to drag you into this? Could they do that? They might try to implicate you, but we've got your back. You are a witness to their discussion about the embezzlement, not a participant. We will help you file a statement with the authority to clear your side. Leaving the office, Tom felt a mixture of relief and impending dread. Reporting his own father and brother was a betrayal of some sort of, but wasn't really. They asked him to lie for them first, and that was a betrayal. His phone vibrated again with a call from his dad. He took a deep breath before answering. You are making a big mistake, Tom. We are family. You shouldn't go against family. The mistake was yours, Dad. I'm just not covering it up. We could lose everything. Think about your mother. Think about what this would do to her. You should have thought about her before you got involved in all this. The call ended with a heavy click, the finality of it echoing through Tom. That night, the loneliness of his choice settled in. He stared at the ceiling of Mike's living room, knowing sleep wouldn't come easily. The next few days were a barrage of messages from Damian and Dad's pleas, threats and guilt trips. Each messages, Tom saved a growing record of their desperation and manipulation. He didn't respond to them. One evening, as Tom was going over his next step in the quiet of Mike's kitchen, there was a pounding on the door. Mike glanced at him, eyebrow raised. Before going to answer it, it was Damian, his face flushed with anger and anxiety. "You need to stop this nonsense and help us fix this," Damian demanded. As soon as Mike opened the door, stepping into the light of the hallway. "This isn't nonsense, it is the law." "Damian, you broke it. I am your brother. Does that mean nothing to you? You lost the right to play that card when you decided your greed was more important than our family's integrity. I'm warning you, Tom. If you don't help us, you are going to regret it as much as you are going to regret getting caught. I'm not covering for you. Not now, not ever." Damian's eyes fled with a mix of fury and fear. His next move unreadable. But before he could say another word, Mike stepped between them. "It's time for you to leave, Damian." Tom made his decisions grudgingly. Damian left, but his threats lingered in the air like a bad smell. "He's scared," Mike noted, locking the door behind him. "Yeah, scared of facing the consequences." As Tom went to bed that night, the reality of his decisions sank in deep. He had chosen his path, one paved with honesty and legality. No matter how rough it would be, the confrontation with Damian was just a taste of what was to come. But Tom was ready to face whatever needed to be faced, to put things right. The courtroom was packed, the air thick with anticipation and the low murmur of the gathered crowd. Tom sat in the back, a silent observer to the unraveling of Damian and his dad's deceitful empire. The judge called the court to order, and the silence that followed was almost as heavy as the guilt. As we proceed, let the record show that the defendants have been charged with multiple counts of embezzlement and fraud. The judge's voice echoed through the courtroom. The prosecutor stood, papers in his hand, ready to cement the face of the two men who once claimed to prioritize family above everything else. "Your Honor, we will demonstrate not only the illegal activities of the defendant, but also their attempt to cover up these crimes by soliciting false testimony from an innocent family member." Tom watched Damian's face, once so confident, now etched with the reality of his impending downfall. Dad looked older, his shoulder slumped, a stark contrast to the man who had once commanded every room. Tom entered. "Yes, Your Honor. I was approached by my father and brother, pressured to lie to protect them. I refused. I had given my statement earlier. My words, a testament to my break from their moral corruption." The prosecutor nodded at Tom briefly before turning back to the court. "We have documented evidence, including financial records and communications, that detail the extent of their criminal activities. Additionally, witness testimonies will corroborate the calculated nature of these crimes." The prosecutor called the financial experts to stand. The complexity of their schemes was laid bare for all to see. The defendant orchestrated a series of unauthorized transactions that channeled company funds into personal accounts. As the trial concluded, the jury didn't take long to deliberate the verdict. As the sunrise guilty on all counts, watching Damian and Dad being led away handcuffed, linking them to their crimes, it felt a complex mix of relief and sadness. The relief was for justice served. The sadness was for the family ties that has been irreparably severed. Walking out of the courtroom, the sky seemed clearer, the city sounded less noisy. Tom knew the road ahead would be tough. rebuilding a life from the scratch. But as he looked up at the sky, the possibilities seemed endless from here. And that's okay, he murmured to himself, a smile touching at his lips. Tom was now ready to face everything on his own terms. And that wraps up Tom's story of family betrayal and justice. And now, to you, my beautiful viewers, what do you think? Was Tom's right to refuse to lie for Damian and his dad, even if it means seeing his family face serious legal consequences? Could you do the same if you were in his shoes, or would you have handled it differently? Let us know your thoughts in the comment sections below. And remember to share this story with your family and your friends. I can't wait to hear your thoughts below. Till I see you again in my next story. Goodbye.